Dealing with online reputation is never something fun any business or any marketer would ever have to engage in. It's unfortunately something that has to be at least 5% or more of your marketing team's time allocation, what they spend in online marketing. What's the point of doing amazing work online to build your brand only to have somebody search for your brand in Google and to see something negative appear, such as a rip-off report or a poor Yelp review or someone's blog post where they used your name and said something negative about you in the title? There are some serious ramifications that could come into play when it comes to SEO, not just because users will see the negative search result, but if they don't click on your listing, or over time they stop clicking on your listing when they see your pages in the search results because they remember seeing something negative about you, over time search engines will start to see that nobody's selecting you in the search results. When that happens, the search engines could be inferring that your result was not helpful to them and ultimately move down your overall rankings across your entire website. Doesn't seem very fair, does it? But that's how impactful negative results that show up in Google could affect your business. So what I'm going to do is walk you through some very simple things to help you monitor your online reputation and provide some tips to help improve your online reputation over time. No good marketing is ever effective without a solid strategy. So my hope is today we'll walk you through a very simple strategy, step by step, that you can add to your project management system and to your monthly routine of what you do for online marketing so that you can control search results, so that you can prevent negative things appearing in search results. So on my screen you see Bill Gates. Bill Gates is going to be our guinea pig today for an exercise that we do when we get into seeing exactly how many people are actually searching for something negative. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a Google Sheet and we're going to create a tracking mechanism that our team will use either weekly or monthly. Search results don't tend to change very quickly, so it probably makes more sense to do this monthly unless you're in some sort of state of urgency and having to remove something negative that already appears in the search results. Then you might want to go twice a month or even weekly. The first tab on this workbook is titled Company Name Only. What we're going to do basically is, in this one, what you're going to do is you're going to perform a search in an incognito window, as you can see in the instructions here. You're going to see what appears for your name or your company name if the company is what you're trying to control search results for. So you're going to use an incognito window. You can also use the Google Keyword Planner, which uses Google's own search. However, they only go to about 10 results, whereas an incognito browser you can go into up to 20 results, even though it still takes your IP address into account. So keep that in mind. So using an incognito window, you'll go to Google, you'll search for your name, and then you'll click on the results that appear in the search results as specified here, and then you'll paste in the full URL of whatever the page was that you found into this tracker. And you'll do that for the first 20 results that appear for your name. I give some examples over here, like your website, LinkedIn, Facebook. Then what you're going to do is color code those results based on what you control. Like you can control your Facebook page. If you want your Facebook page to go away, you just delete it and it goes away. You have control of that. Yellow represents something you don't control, maybe a news post or a blog post somewhere that you don't really have control over, but it's not negative. It's just not something you can control. Again, our idea here is to try to be able to have control over what appears in the first page and continue to push more and more visibility to those things to build a virtual wall so that if something negative ever does appear in Google search results, that our content that we've been nurturing on the top 2 pages of Google has a lot more trust, authority, and history and is less likely to let that negative thing slip in. So yellow is neutral. And then red is negative. That's that negative result. In this example, I use complaints board. It could be rip-off report, it could be Yelp, it could be an Indeed post or something, who knows. Glassdoor, I think Glassdoor is what shows up quite a bit now. So it could be anything negative that somebody posts online that you want to bury. The goal, of course, is to basically match up your goal URL. You're going to decide what you'd like to appear here, and I give you some good examples for business, not necessarily for personal. If you're doing this for personal, you might use more or other social networks. You might use some personal websites like about.me or something like that. There's a lot more things that you can do with your personal name that we'll probably get into in another video. But in this case, we're going to use business as the example, and there's a lot of similarities in some of the sample selections that I chose here. So this is what our goal is. We'd like number 1 to be our website, number 2 to be our Google+, 3 to be our Wikipedia. I chose these just based on what I've seen historically rank well in the order I've seen them rank. I know you're thinking, wouldn't I want my Pinterest and Instagram at the top? Yeah, maybe. But these sites have a lot more authority and tend to rank a little bit quicker. So these are in order. You can choose whatever you want and work with your team to try to, to give more attention to the pages that you'd like to appear. Again, I was just giving you something to start with. So that's it. So once a month, you're going to take the same sheet and you're going to do the same search in an incognito window, and you're going to record what shows up. What will happen over time if you're doing a good job is you'll start to see more and more green show up, and yellow go to the bottom, and red hopefully go away completely. If you do a really good job, you'll actually have the exact same results of what you had planned for. So that's, again, how you do this from a company perspective with creating a tracking device to manage your online reputation. The other tab I have in here is for reviews. Basically the exact same thing, only this time you're going to search for your name plus the word reviews, as you can see in instruction step number 2. So you do a search for reviews and you see what comes up. In this case, I give some different pages as a recommendation, just as a starting point. BBB, your local chamber, your Google My Business review, TripAdvisor, right? All of those kind of things. And they're there so that you can play with them. You can choose whatever you want as long as it's a page that specifically lists your reviews. You could even have a partner or affiliate website that hosts a whole page about their review of you, and title that page company name reviews by our employees, and then list a few different employees and what their reviews are of you. Some really creative things that you can do, but whatever you do, that page that has those reviews needs to be promoted. It needs to be shared across these different social networks, cross-linked between these different social networks and other blogs, to really promote the pages that we want to appear. So those are the two, and you can create as many as you want. If it's reviews, if it's lawsuit, if it is scam seems to be appearing quite a bit these days in negative results. Whatever it is, create a tab for it and create your tracker. The next one is Autocomplete. Google Autocomplete is basically, if we go to the top up here and I start typing in Bill Gates, space, you can see the auto suggest here at the top says house, net worth, quotes, and money. Right? Those are what currently appear when you start searching for Bill Gates' name. Let's go back. So we use a tool called Ubersuggest. There are other tools you can use as well, but Ubersuggest does a pretty good job of being able to pull the top 10 instead of just being able to see the top 4 or 5 like we just witnessed. So on Ubersuggest, we'll go here and we'll type in Bill Gates and we'll click suggest. By the way, it's .io. I think it used to be .org, now it's .io. And we'll see what shows up for Bill Gates. It's house, net worth, daughter, quotes, age, children. Right? This is what appears right now. All we're going to do in this tracker is just copy and paste these right into the tracker of what currently appears. Right? And the hope, of course, is that it's all positive. But if there's something negative that we don't want to appear, let's just say he doesn't want net worth to be up here at the top, even though it's going to be a tough one because a lot of people search for that. Or maybe daughter. Maybe he doesn't want his daughter, in his personal life in the autocomplete. Maybe he'd rather have something else. Some suggestions for Bill Gates might be Microsoft, philanthropist, biography, author, speech, news, foundation, maybe his books, maybe even his age, because that's not really negative. That's just someone wants to know how old he is. So these are the items that Bill decides, hey, this is what I want to control the results with. And by the way, Bill's just an example. I just randomly pulled him. I'm not doing any kind of online reputation for him. So basically, this is what you use to measure what appears right now in the autocomplete using Ubersuggest, and then you track it every month in the hopes that everything will turn out green. And you can see the instructions here as well. You can follow along. And you'll probably do the same thing for whatever the negative keyword is, like lawsuit. So in this case, my suggestions all started with the letter L. To see what shows up currently, go back to your Uber suggest and just scroll down or click the letter L. So if it's lawsuit, what if the word lawsuit was coming up and there was something going on, and every time somebody searched for Bill Gates, they see a lawsuit in the search auto suggest and they click on it, and it just makes them feel really uncomfortable to see the word lawsuit whenever you type his name. So it's like, I'd like to control the results. So you basically copy and paste these over to your tracker and you run the same exact thing, but instead you use the letter L so that when they type in the letter L, we can control what shows up, and hopefully it's something like life story, leadership style, LinkedIn, lifestyle, letter, library leader. Bill Gates loves helping people, leaves Microsoft. That's not really negative, right? He left because he wanted to do philanthropy and whatever. So these are the results that we want to appear. How you influence the search results is a whole nother ballgame. There's some things that you can do around content and producing content and titles, where there's a really interesting topic you can talk about that gets people searching for that article again. There are some other things that you can do that sort of slip into the gray area of search, where you're sort of influencing the volume of queries and behavior for certain search terms. Don't recommend that. Try to stay away from anything negative, but it is something, unfortunately, that a lot of reputation management companies have to do to get rid of some negative things. Then you're going to have a credential sheet over here. And this credential sheet basically lists out every place that you are trying to control results in, including your own website or whatever you want to use, so that you have a way to track it. There's nothing worse than creating a bunch of really cool content out there and then forgetting where you put the password for that site. I mean, you can always reset it or whatever, but this is just a simple way, if you have someone helping you, to keep track of all your usernames and passwords. And the instructions are easy. Just log your credentials. So we know how to track our search results now and what appears for our name and any negative keywords, but do we really know how many people are actually searching? I'm going to show you a neat tool. It's not even a tool, it's a neat technique. A neat technique that shows you how to present to your client or to your team or to whomever exactly how many people are searching. The hope is that the volume of searches goes down over time. As long as people see the negative search result, they're going to click it, they're going to remember it, they're going to go back to it, and it's going to just stick there forever. So if we bury the search result, the hope is that eventually that the search volume for that will go down. And most of the time it does. Let's go to the Google Keyword Planner. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to type in, there's a couple different sections. We're going to use the Get Search Volume Data and Trends, and we're going to type in Bill Gates. And then I'm going to choose all locations to make sure it's everywhere, and I'm going to do Get Search Volume. And you can see there's roughly 1,500,000 people searching for Bill Gates. What I'm going to do is download this, but when I download, I'm going to select the segment by month option and then download. And by the way, if you ever get a range in here, talk to an agency or someone who specializes in marketing. Normally they have access to a lot more data. Google, for some reason, likes to not give smaller businesses the same data they give larger agencies. So just ask them, hey, could you run a quick search in Google Keyword Planner and tell me and give me this extract of segmented by month of how many people are searching. It doesn't take them any time. Buy them lunch, whatever you've got to do. And then here's what you get back is all the numbers of how many people are searching. So what I'm going to do is just grab these numbers all the way across. I'm going to Control C, and then I'm going to go back to my Google Sheet. I'm just going to pretend for the sake of this exercise that we started in January and paste those numbers in. And let's make sure these are a number. Oops, wrong way. Here we go. Seems relatively consistent. Let's do the next one where we're using lawsuit as our example. Oops. So we'll go back to Keyword Planner. I don't need this anymore. Go back to Keyword Planner. Bill Gates lawsuit. Might not be anything for this one. Ooh, there is. Bill Gates lawsuits. So I'll download this, segment by month, save file, and we'll open this thing up. I'll do the exact same copy paste. Control C and Control V, just like so. Next, what we'll want to do is create a trend table so that we can see how things are changing over time. So I'm going to take these rows, top 3 rows here. I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to insert a chart. Just like so. Of course, we can choose the type of chart we want to use. I like the line chart. Yeah, let's do line chart here. Like so. And then we're going to use the switch columns rows here so we get a better idea of trend over time. Can't really see that bottom one too well, unfortunately. Let's move this up. Like so. So we may end up doing 2 tables just to sort of track the trend over time and change our data range over here. And we're going to do B1 through M2. There we go. So now we get a better feel for the trend over time. So there were quite a few searches for Bill Gates in July. And the hope is that we can see this downward trend over time. That's what we're looking for. And now I'll do the same thing with the next row. So we'll do Insert and Chart. Move this chart over here. Build out a little bit. This is going to be a trend chart. We're going to switch columns and rows. And we're going to remove B2 and BM. There we go. So now you can see the trend on the Bill Gates lawsuit keyword going down over time. So there were a lot of searches happening for a while, and then it's just kind of tapered off, like I'd mentioned. Normally it does over time as other news comes into play. So now you know, when the client or anyone asks, well, how do you even know how many people are searching? This tool will give you a general idea. The numbers are somewhat relative, that's why they're so rounded, but it gives you a general trend idea of how people are searching. You can use other tools like Google Trends, but this seems to do a pretty good job, at least of us understanding the pattern of search behavior and showing that over time that the number of people who are searching are going down to give more peace of mind and comfort to the business or the person who's trying to bury those negative search results. And that is it. So now you've got an online reputation tracking template for tracking and hopefully controlling your Google search results. You've got a way to track your autocomplete results, a way to track your credentials, and a way to see how many people are searching segmented month over month so that you can trend and see that those numbers are going away over time. From an ongoing standpoint, the things that you need to do to control what show up in organic results are standard SEO best practices. You treat each profile like it's your homepage. You make sure when you're doing press releases and articles and you're getting featured and mentioned and you're guest posting or whatever, that you include links to some of these different profiles. Switch it up, rotate it out. Do what makes the most sense for the article that you're writing, but make sure that you're linking to these as much as you can from pages that mention you or talk about you. Not just your website, but switch in there a few social profiles now and then. Do some interviews with other people in your industry, and ask when the person who publishes the interview, just ask them, say, hey, could you link to a few of my social profiles so they know how to connect with me? You don't need to link to my website. I'm not trying to do this for SEO. I'm really just trying to build my brand, and they don't realize that they're actually passing page rank to your social profiles when they do that. So there's an incremental benefit there. Make sure in each of these profiles that your name is prominent in the actual title of the page. Here up here in the title, you can see online reputation tracking template, Uber suggests, free keyword tool, keyword planner. We want your name to appear on these pages. Likewise with reviews, we want your name and reviews to appear in the title and in the copy. I don't know, probably 5 to 10% of the time on the page. If it's a long form page, you probably want the density of the search term to be closer to like 2 or 3%. For a shorter page, you're probably going to be closer to 10%. To make sure that Google and other search engines know that there's a correlation. When you link to these pages, try to use the brand name. So, for example, brand name Facebook page. And it's okay if some of them just have the brand name. You're never really going to outrank your own website. So if you want to explicitly just use your name in some of those links, visit brand's Pinterest profile, and brand happens to be the link to the Pinterest profile. That's okay. The more of those that happen, the more links that Google will find with those brand names in it, the higher the likelihood that they're going to rank those pages. So that's, just to kind of give you a head start. You can also talk to your SEO agency and say, hey, I want to do SEO for my Facebook page as if it were my homepage. I don't want my homepage to go anywhere. I just want a little more prominence to my Facebook page. Make sure that they understand that there are specific Google link schemes that you want them to stay away from. Just type link schemes, and you'll see it right here at the top of Google. Give this to your SEO company and say, please make sure you're following these guidelines and sharing every link that you've earned with me. And if they say they can't do it, they're not the right firm. There are creative ways and angles and things that you can do that don't violate Google guidelines that help you achieve the results you're looking for. So don't fall for there's no other way to do it, this is ORM line. They're just lazy, honestly. And tell them I said that. Call me. Anyway, this is Steve Wiedemann. Thank you for watching this quick tutorial. We managed to wrap this whole thing up in about 20 minutes, and now you are a online reputation management rock star. You've got a template to use. You've got this video. You've got me at your disposal. I'm just SEO Steve on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to hearing your success stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.